The Washington Capitals sending this out, sending our best wishes and gratitude to Nicky as he returns home to continue his hockey career in Sweden. Nick Backstrom, one of the nicest players we've ever encountered here on NHL Network. It's the same thought that I have about Jonathan Toews. Great players deserve to go out on their terms. In the case of Nick Backstrom, the hip resurfacing was a nightmare. Here he is getting ready to play in his native Sweden. Gives me goosebumps, Grimmer.
Yeah, just to see a guy still, the fire, the passion still burns for the game, to get back into it. I mean, albeit it's not the NHL, but it's a really competitive level of hockey. But to subject yourself to that speaks volumes about your, what's going on inside that ticking heart.
Hicks, is he a Hall of Famer? Tough one.
That's a great question, and I think he's a guy that maybe not your first ballot type of guy, but you look at his body of work. I know he didn't win the major awards, but yeah. I had to play against this guy a ton. When you think about Washington and you think about that power play, you all think about Ovechkin. I was usually on the other side of the ice, and this guy had the puck in his hands, and he just sees through you. And I think for him, maybe why he doesn't pop up as a Hall of Fame guy right away to a lot of people is he didn't dominate games, but he did control games, and he did it all with his eyes. He's not a guy that moved at an extremely fast pace. He was so smooth. He slowed everyone on the ice down, and then he did exactly what he wanted to do. I think this is a guy that, if he decided that he wanted to shoot more, could have put up a lot more goals in his career. His playmaking was just so good. When I look at him and you ask about Hall of Fame, I go, number 19, I think certainly looks like a guy that could end up there. But the other part of it too, Stu, he was a power forward to me. I don't think anyone would generalize him as a power forward. To me, he'd turn his back on you. He'd stick his rear end out.
Yeah,
and he was a puck-protecting player.
Yeah.
He was a phenomenal playmaker. Maybe that's why his body didn't hold up, because he took a lot of...
it's a big-time compliment.
Exactly.
It's interesting you say it that way. I wouldn't, I kind of, I cocked my head a little bit when you mentioned power forward, but power forward in the heavy sense of the game, very hard to knock off the puck. And I would agree with that.
He would invite puck battles, right? He'd go, come and get it. And then you go the wrong way, and he's gone.
It's kind of an understated part of his game, no question, because he did play a rather cerebral game, but you don't often put cerebral and power into the same mix too often. I think it's a slam dunk for me. May not be a first ballot, but it's an eventual, and not that far into the future ballot, in my estimation. Think about it in these terms: 1,033 points over 1,105 games. I'll bet you could point to a dozen guys this era or soon before that are around those numbers, that are Hall of Fame participants, fixtures now. But the other piece of it, Tone, is add to that, he's a Stanley Cup champion going back to 18. I think that kind of gets you over the top if the raw numbers didn't. And two, I think you've got to pay, important attention to this if you're the Hall of Fame committee as you're making this decision. He rode shotgun alongside the best goal scorer
ever
of all time.
Tell him, Grimmer.
Of all time, and it's no stroke of luck that Ovi's able to put up the numbers that Ovi did with Backstrom as his pivot for substantially all of Backstrom's career. So those two together developed incredible chemistry. They're among the best tandems we've ever seen in the game, but Backstrom had a great feel for what Ovi needed and fed him exceptionally well. That, for me, is an important piece of the criteria as well. It would be unbefitting for the Hall to not, usher in Backstrom as a pivot to Ovechkin based on what Ovechkin did over the course of his career.
And I agree. What you're saying, it enhances his case. It doesn't take away from the fact that he played with the greatest goal scorer. Yeah. It enhances his case because he was the facilitator. Exactly.